back to another episode of EVE Online. Today, we have a winner for our new Catalyst naming competition. And the name of the Catalyst shall be... the Hone Edge. Congratulations to the winner, and hope you enjoy seeing your ship in action. So we have the Inception, which is the Velator, the Catalyst, which is the Hone Edge, and the Ankleo, which is the Venture. However, we're going to need to purchase a new ship today, because we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to be going out on a field trip. So let's first take a look at what we got going on down here. We finished some skills. Trade, level 3, hull upgrades 4, and shield management 4, which is good. That's good. We got those things cranking out. Take a look up here and see what we got going on for finance and our market orders. We have 2 different Velspar not selling because we keep getting undercut by the market. So if we were to take a look at the market details right now, we'll see that ours are listed in blue. Right here, in station, 1150. In the same system, we're being undercut by 0.1%. 2 systems away, same thing, and then another one's down here at 10.5. So basically we're just getting undercut left and right. But we'll leave it up. Eventually somebody will either buy it or we'll reduce our price. So we'll figure out what happens with that here. But while we're in the market, we need to find a shuttle. So we look under ships and we find shuttles. I think we can fly those. Let's take a look. I like the Minmatar shuttle as it looks a lot like a TIE fighter, which is basically a rocket. So yeah, let's look at purchasing a Minmatar shuttle. Looks like we can get one. Two jumps away. We'll buy this for 13 grand. Close that. Close this. Now, what do we have here that's highlighted? Social contracts. We have a contract. How do we have a contract? Agent. Search. Must have clicked the wrong one. Under social contracts. Or am I misreading that? People blocked. Down to social. Corporation. Ah, we had somebody who invited us to a corporation. I don't know who they are. What if we take a look real quick? We'll see that they are headquartered. They're Amar. They are currently high sec, but they want to move out to null. So that should be interesting for them. They are Nuber friendly, have a Discord. It's the thing with these corporations, they often try to have absolutely every service you can possibly get, and if you see that kind of thing, usually it's not good because they're overreaching. We don't want to join a corporation at this point in time, so we will decline. Alright. Let's take a look at our personal assets. This is where our shuttle is located. So we will set our destination for there. And after that, we will be going... You ready? On a dangerous trip. We will be heading to New Eden. It's about 23 jumps from here, and it takes us through a large stretch of low security space. So there's a high likelihood we're going to get blown up. But if we don't, we can show you some really cool things, and along the way, we can possibly learn some stuff about Eve. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to see what's happening. We've already done some mining, and we can show you that a little bit here. So let's close our map out. We will leave our current ship. We don't want to take our destroyer. And we'll undock in our pod, which I don't recommend you do. Gate.
Warp drive active.
So yeah, we're on our way to get a shuttle. Shuttles are really interesting. Basically, they're completely unarmed. They're incredibly quick. And they have the ability to circumvent warp bubbles. So if they try to stop you with a warp bubble, which disrupts your ability to generate a warp field, they can't do it. You can still lock them, but the ship is actually considered insta warp. So that's an align time under 2 seconds. So you can usually, if you can click the route you want to go on before they can click on you, basically it's the first person that clicks wins. And we're off.
Warp drive active.
To the next system. Or are we actually docking? Nope, next system. Elgogile? I may not have killed that one. Sounds very Scottish. Where are you from? Elgogile. Arr, another pirate. Why did I go full pirate again? I don't know. Hello, Concord. Teach you a little bit about Concord a little bit here. And that guy is in a Badger, which is a transport ship, but he's also flagged. Which means he was probably part of a ganking operation, I'm assuming. Looks kind of scary. Let's dock.
Warp drive active.
What's this? What's the sound of one pod flying? I have no idea.
Docking permission requested. Docking request.
Doesn't make you sound. It's kind of... There's nothing in space to make the sound waves work. Like the sound of one hand clapping. Alright, we're here. We have a ship. And we look in the ship hangar, and the ship hangar says we have a shuttle. We assemble the shuttle. We then board the shuttle by right-clicking and going Make Active. Now, the shuttle. Whatever shall I name it? That's a good question. I think I'll name this one myself. So let's go with rename, and we will call it the, the Hail Bop. Works for me. So we have our ship. We're not going to insure it. If we lose it, it's a loss, but not a big one. So we're not overly concerned about it. And if we do insure it, let's take a look at the insurance just to see what that looks like. We spent $3,000. You know, maybe what? Let's get the insurance anyway. We'll basically make back the cost of the ship. We'll lose money, but yeah, $3,000 or so. What's that? Think what the cost was. All right, we are on our way to New Eden. Here's the shuttle and the various aspects of it. I told you, it looks like a TIE fighter. Ah, the Minotaur. In rust we trust. All right. Let's get underway, shall we?
Warp drive active.
Now I will direct your attention to the video, which will be playing here shortly in the bottom right-hand corner.
Earth. A world outgrown, scarred by war and burdened with the advance of our ancestors, compelled the first voyages across space in a desperate quest to colonize other worlds. Space. Its timeless boundaries and infinite horizons forged the creation of stargates that could bridge the immense distances between the stars. Through mastery of this technology, mankind ventured deeper into the cosmos. Ruthless corporations rose to power, seizing every world within their grasp. When the stargates could take them no further, they turned against each other, igniting conflicts that would last for centuries. The battles raged until the historic discovery of a natural wormhole, a celestial womb through which civilization would be reborn. The first brave pioneers to enter this portal emerged unscathed, transported instantly across the universe to a virgin system they called New Eden. Millions of colonists soon followed in their wake, lured by the vision of paradise through the astral gateway known as Eve. Spreading outwards among the stars, they embraced Eve with the greatest of expectations, the highest of hopes, and the boldest of dreams. When one day, nature conspired with fate to breed the cruelest nightmare of all. The wormhole leading to New Eden collapsed, severing young colonies from the home worlds which sustained them. It was the beginning of a dark age that would erase civilization as it was known to be. As the accumulated knowledge of millennia slowly eroded, the unfinished worlds of Eve became the graveyards of millions. On the few planets that could sustain life, the last remnants of our race struggled to adapt and survive.
Warp drive active.
In time, society was reborn and the memories of our past transformed into legend and myth. The first to emerge from the darkness were the Amar, a monotheistic race fervently committed to their faith. They reinvented spaceflight and soon discovered they were not alone. The Amarians encountered the Minmatar race, dismissing them as primitive barbarians destined for a life of slavery. Moving quickly to subjugate them, they launched a merciless crusade against the Minmatar worlds. At the same time, the Gallente race flourished nearby. They created the first democratic republic of the new era and established a regional federation of independent states. The Kaldari emerged as the strongest state among them, driven by the relentless pursuit of economic and military might. Their nationalist ideals soon clashed with Gallente liberalism. Destruction and suffering once again became the defining essence of our civilization. 4 races, torn apart by 2 horrific wars. When all that remained were the smouldering ruins of lost cities and shattered lives, a universal truce was declared to end the despair. For more than a century, the races of Eve have coexisted in relative peace. Prosperity and the pursuit of wealth govern the mission of mankind. We have a destiny to meet, and the courage of our pilots will show us the path. On the strength of your wings, the fate of empires and the hopes of worlds will be decided. Take control of the destiny that is rightfully yours.
Warp drive active.
In chaos theory, there's a concept known as sensitive dependence on initial conditions. Most people call it the butterfly effect. In Eve, we call it the sandbox. Let's say this is you. One lone wolf flying a starship in the far reaches of space. And in your travels, you encounter this. A defenseless mining barge under attack by pirates. You have a split second to make a choice. Without your help, the miner doesn't stand a chance. You decide to be the hero and succeed in driving the raiders away. The victim is thankful, and in the conversation that follows, a friendly gang that was on its way to help finally arrives. Grateful for your assistance, they invite you to fly with them. As it turns out, that gang was on its way to regroup with more patrols, who are all members of the same corporation, which happens to be part of an alliance of corporations that is currently at war with another alliance, whose patrols have just spotted the one you're flying with right now. Your decision to help that miner led to this moment, an epic battle between thousands of players, and the chance to share that experience with new friends that you might have for the rest of your life. Hundreds of thousands of people could hear about this battle. Why so many? Because it all happened in one universe, not in separate realms, just one big sandbox, where the actions of one person can resonate throughout the entire game world. In Eve, the choices you make shape the outcome of events. You could have helped those pirates, or just flown on by. What matters most is that the experience was emergent, unscripted, because in the sandbox, all player actions, no matter how subtle or bold, always have an impact. Imagine what you could become a part of. Being in the right place, at the right time, could touch the lives of more than 300,000 people in 230 countries around the world. Welcome to EVE Online.
We have a long way to go, so sit back and let me tell you about a topic of much speculation. There is little substantive evidence to guide the discussion, as few artifacts have survived to tell the times before the rise of the 4 modern empires. The story of those 4 empires, however, have been shaped by 4 key events, 2 meetings, and 2 wars that they triggered. The first, now 1,000 years past, was the meeting between the Amarr and the Minmatar. The Amarr, by this time already an expansive imperial theocracy controlling dozens of star systems, stumbled across the Minmatar while the latter was still exploring their home system. Over the next century, the Amarians, in keeping with teachings of their originally stabilizing priesthood, return with increasing frequency to forcibly acquire workers from the growing Minotaur nation. These raids culminated in the wholesale invasion, annexation, and enslavement of the entire Minotaur civilization some 900 years ago. Which does go to show that tyranny is seldom instituted suddenly, but it's rather a slow progression with a cumulative and repressive conclusion. The second meeting began on a more equitable footing, when the Galante confirmed the existence of another civilization, now known as the Caldari, in a neighboring planet within their home system. Where Galante Prime was a comfortable temperate planet, Caldari Prime was a barely habitable ice world, which dictated both the relative advancement of the two peoples and the tone of their respective cultures. The Galante, even then approaching foreign affairs with an air of slightly overbearing indulgence, gladly welcomed the Caldari as a trading partner, and shared with them many enabling technologies, allowing both civilizations to grow side by side in a slowly expanding coalition of desperate societies that would soon coalesce into the Galante Federation. As they grew together, however, these two peoples increasingly grew apart. The liberal, individualistic, and easygoing Galante had never really meshed well with the hardy, organized, and communalistic Caldari, and as time progressed, their goals diverged. The strains in their relationship became chronic. Events came to a head in the brutal and protracted Caldari-Galante War, which squandered much blood and treasure and eventually forced the Caldari to flee their ancestral homeworld. Indeed, as a society, the Caldari were only saved by the substantial resources and inspired leadership of their monolithic megacorporations, who led their people to new homeworlds around distant stars. Eventually, a fragile peace settled between the newly founded Caldari state and the still expanding Galante Federation, but neither side has forgotten or forgiven. That was the first war. The second was precipitated by the action or inactions of the fifth major player in cluster politics, the enigmatic Jovians, who say very little but cast a long shadow. When their faces were still new to the four empires and their prowess was unmeasured, the Amarians sought to subjugate them as they had countless cultures since the conquest of the Minotaur. Then, a lone Jovian mothership savaged the combined power of the Amarian fleet. With the Amar Empire reeling from the magnitude of their military failure, the Minotaur decided that their moment had come. All across the Amarian slaveholdings, indentured Minotaur rose up and threw off their shackles. The Empire, unable to react promptly enough to quell the massive rebellion, were forced to withdraw from huge swaths of worlds where the Minotaur slaves had dominated the workforce. These regions of space and time became the Minotaur Republic, a Galante-backed political experiment uniting 4 of the 7 Minotaur tribes under a democratic government. While both the Minotaur Republic and the Amar Empire retreated to lick their wounds and rebuild, both feel they have unfinished business that cannot be ignored indefinitely. In this uneasy peace, the 4 empires sought some measure of stability while they took stock of their situations, and eventually that stability was provided by the formation of Concord. With the quiet assistance of the Jovians, the empires came to agreements on trade, communication, and diplomacy, and together created the Concord Assembly and its subordinate divisions to oversee and administer interstellar relations. Today, Concord continues to support and manage many aspects of modern life where cooperation between the empires is a necessity, and its expanded mandate from the 5 founding empires makes its 5-pointed star a familiar and respected sight all throughout the cluster of New Eden. The New Eden system was the first system colonized by humans. The system itself is not that impressive, just some space debris and a few asteroid belts orbiting a white dwarf. But at the outskirts of the system is a phenomenon that has puzzled us for centuries. At the center of this phenomenon lies a huge structure, obviously built by some advanced civilization eons ago. The structure looks very much like a jump gate, except it's many times bigger than any space structure of ours. The gate is fairly plain all around, but there are markings here and there in some ancient language. At the top, the largest of these markings, is a 3-letter word that says Eve. There isn't fully an agreement among the scholars as to the meaning of these words, but most people regard it simply as the name of the gate. The gate itself is impenetrable, and thousands of years ago the forefathers of all human races used the gate to travel to the world of Eve. But the gate has been closed for a long time by a catastrophe that destroyed the planets of the New Eden system and plunged the fragile human settlements into the brink of extinction. If you get too close to the gate, you will be ripped apart by the magnetic storms that still surround the massive construct. Today, the system of New Eden contains nothing but a star, the single gas giant of New Eden, and a single great glowing eye of the collapsed Eve Gate. Space there is littered with the graffiti left by tourists who come to see all that remains of the origins of the Eve universe. And now you know a little more about who we are, where we're from, and how we came to be what we are today. From my perspective, you can say immortality has its benefits. Well, I hope you found that interesting. We have arrived in the New Eden system. Take a warp over to the sun. And that right there is the New Eden Gate. Or what's left of it. Basically completely decimated most of the system. Let me get rid of...
Warp drive active.
warp to the messed up Jovian observatory. As you can see, it was broken. Eve Gate Research Complex.
Active.
the one remaining barren planet. And they're a ways away. There's the star to give you a scope and comparison. You get too close to it, your ship gets blown up. You go through there, and you get back to Earth. Kind of interesting what you can find if you go looking. This planet completely destroyed when it exploded, cutting off all of humanity from what used to be our home. They expanded. 4 races developed. Personally, I think the Jovians had something to do with the Eve Gate blowing up. But, I don't know. Bit of a frivolous theory. And that is all there is for that. Not much else to look at here. There might be one asteroid belt in this system. Let's see if we can find anomalies. Yep, medium. We'll warp to 100 in that, show you what that looks like.
Active.
We have one person in system. No tax, no. Yeah, that's pretty horrible. No help. Yeah, that's not my kind of corporation. Mining. $156 away, huh? Where am I not seeing it? Oh, it's right over there. I'm not seeing it because it's right in front of me. Pretty out here, though. I'll give you that. Alright, let's go back, shall we? And try not to get blown up along the way.
Warp drive active.
So yeah, basically everything you do in the game of Eve has an impact on somebody else. Impact on you. That's the same way in life, really. What you do or don't do for someone puts you on a certain path. Eventually, you'll find out where that goes, but what are you going to do? You have a basic idea where you want to go. Work toward your objectives.
Warp drive active.
So we did make some money, which is good. We got about another $1 million coming in after that ore gets sold. We can start to do some upgrading then. I just thought it would be interesting to take you on a little excursion today out here to the middle of nowhere to show you, one, that you can do this as a new player. You can hop at a shuttle and you can fly off. Keep in mind, shuttle's completely unarmed. You can do it in a rookie ship if you really want to. But I recommend using a shuttle because it has interdiction nullification, meaning that warp bubbles won't be able to snag you, not that you're going into null space. But they're also very quick. They align very fast. They can get you in and out of places quicker. If you use a rookie ship, the align time's a lot slower. If you use your pod, you're just absolutely silly. we should start looking potentially at doing some exploration, which is kind of like this, except you would go into a system and you'd start scanning for anomalies, and then you would do data hacks or relic hacks using a relic scanner or a data scanner, which is a minigame, by the way, and I am not fond of minigames, which is the primary reason I don't like exploration so much personally. Kind of like a weird game of Minesweeper. But the payouts can be really, really good. It's a pretty good way for a new player to actually make money in the game. So, relic sites, data sites. Probably data before relic. Keep in mind you're going to encounter hostiles in some of these systems, so if you do go, make sure you have armament. You don't want to go, well, you couldn't go in a shuttle because there's no way to fit a relic scanner. You can't fit anything in these ships. We take a brief look at the shuttle. I mean, you can see there's no fitting. No fitting in the rigs, no fitting in the highs, no fitting in the lows. It's just really, really quick. The align time's 1.73, which is under 2 seconds, which makes it insta-warp, which is really hard to log on to. It also has the nullification ability, which is also very handy. And so bring that up here. Traits. Interdiction sphere launcher. So you can't drop a bubble on it or use a generator to stop it, or use warp disruptors apparently. So it's probably the best way to go if you just want to get from point A to point B. It does have a cargo hold, which is incredibly small. I believe it's 10M3. Yeah. So you can fit a little bit of something in there. 2 jumps and I will be out of low sec space. And then we'll be back into the bare minimum of high sec. I always like the blue suns. I don't know why. It is absolutely pretty out here, that's for sure. See our route. Ziggy zaggy, ziggy zaggy. Oi, oi, oi! Okay, anyway, I guess he had to be there. I guess that's our destination. So we are 14 jumps out. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I'll do the best I can to answer them. Anything you'd like to see, let me know, and I will see if I can work that content in for you.
Warp drive active.
That is not what I want. If you click on space to do something, like rotate your ship, and you happen to be on your ship, you'll pop up your radial. Just let go and it'll go away, but I've done that on more than one occasion. Sometimes it just gets in the way. Amar have very nice, pretty looking ships and structures.
Warp drive
On the
active.
other end of that is the Minotaur, who basically are flying around in space, being held together by baling wire, duct tape, and a little bit of chewing gum, and a lot of rust. The actual, like, in-game motto is, "In rust we trust." I don't know if it's official, but it definitely is one we use. The blue dots here are the ships from Concord, which we learned about a little bit earlier. Oh, it's a Stratios. High-end scanner ship. Kind of ship that likes to blow people up.
Warp drive.
You're gonna blow me up though. Not worth it. He'd lose a very expensive ship and will have gained absolutely nothing. We did get some stuff from the air career system. We'll claim it. So it looks like we got 50,000 ISK for completing some objective. I'm gonna guess it was probably... Yeah, I took 50 jump gates. Hey, I'm not going to turn down free ISK. So our wallet current total is 251,000, so we got 50 grand less 13, so we made a ISK positive venture today. We bought ourselves a new shuttle. And in the process of jumping from point A to point B, we made ISK. So, though it may appear as though we've done nothing today, really, other than fly from point A to point B, we still managed to make an income, even with an expenditure. Pretty good work. Nine jumps till we're back in Durapente. There's no E on the end. Durapaint, I guess is what you pronounce that as. Durapant. We'll call it Durapant. Unless somebody else knows the exact pronunciation. If you do, put it down in the comment section below.
Warp drive active.
All kinds of ringed systems, nebula. Lots to see, but we haven't covered a fraction of it yet. See, this is where a person might be inclined to say, hey, well, we made it back, and we're actually still 8 jumps out. You're not safe until you're in a station. And even then, you might not be safe. If it's a player construct, they can blow it up. If it's an NPC station, you're good to go. Then you might be stuck there because they can camp outside the station and wait for you to undock, and when they do that, they'll lock you and very easily blow you up sometimes. Which is why you want to always establish your safe warp out. Safe undock, safe dock. Your safe dock is actually within the perimeter of like 2,500 from the station. Usually I'd like to put it on top of the station so it'll warp to it, and then you can right click it and instantaneously dock. And when you undock from a station to create a safe warp, you want to be at least 350 kilometers from the station when you set your point. So you basically come straight out of the dock, and you fly straight ahead for about 300 or farther the better. When you come out the station, right click space, go to safe undock, and fly directly to it at warp speed, so it gives people less chance to warp and or to lock you and blow you up. Warp. Why am I saying warp?
Warp drive active.
A lot of Cromwells. I'm gonna guess these are probably like a primary character and a secondary character.
Warp drive active.
But they're not being apparently used by the same person. Either that or they have a scout in this system. That's something else you can do if you're in a dead-end system. You can put, if you have multiple characters or accounts, you can put one in an account outside, and if you have your Omega on the other side, mining whatever, you can see people coming and going in the system before it gets to you. That way it's kind of like an early warning system. And it helps to protect you a little. It gives you a bit of a buffer zone, a little bit of lead time.
Warp drive
And he's
active.
still sitting there. I think he may be camping. Gate camping is a thing. Basically, people will sit on gates, they will wait for you to come through. When you uncloak after your warp, they will try to lock you. Usually they have an insta-lock, which is the counterpart to the instant warp, which is what this ship is. And it's the first person to click wins. Unless you're really, really close to the server. Which I think is in
Warp
London.
drive active.
Bree jumps out. I guess I can pronounce this one Tar. Ah, really? The next one sounds kind of like sushi. That's a lot of ships.
Warp drive
That is
active.
a covert ops, not a covert ops, but a it's a blockade runner. Unscannable hold. It doesn't hold a lot, but it usually has a fast ship. It's a pretty good warp time align. And if people try to do a cargo scan on it, they won't be able to determine what's in your hold. It's kind of shielded from it. Well, it is shielded from it.
Warp drive active.
Hello, Mr. Noses. Notice nobody ever says hardly anything in local, which is always a good rule of thumb. It's a good way to get yourself in trouble. It's also kind of boring. I have been known on occasion to start up random banter, if you can believe such a thing. And we are back in system.
Warp drive active.
A measly 5 AUs in closing. Wow, that was quick. Fast ship. I think it's like 5 AUs per second. And these are apparently
Docking permission requested. Docking
abandoned
request
ships. People do that.
accepted.
They get rookie ships, and then instead of just deleting them, they fly them into space and abandon them, which I think is suspect. Alright, well, that was our trip today. We did some mining. Congratulations to our new ship, the Hone Edge. Congratulations on being the person who named that. We have 4 ships in our collection now. We're definitely moving forward. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. Make sure to go back, watch the old videos, because I love love, and love is good. So, You have a great day, and remember, no matter where you go, there you are.